It's time for the group chat. If you're not talking about the Super Bowl halftime show, what are you doing with your life?
If you're a real hip-hop fan, right, where most players in the league probably are, you will love this, right? And him and the Drake thing, he really sealed the deal. like, listen, homie, look, don't you ever play with me. He put him in the bag, put him in the dirt. It's over with now. Over.
I loved it. I thought Kendrick did his thing. He came out there, but not only that, what I love most about it is he was Kendrick, right? You know, I was sitting here talking to my dog Chase, and he like, man, I wish more people would have came out. That's not Kendrick. Kendrick puts on the show, and Kendrick does what Kendrick does. And then not only that, you bring out Serena. We all know what that means. And then a lot of people don't understand because, you know, I rock with Kendrick. The small little A minor. And the capital A is a little baby A. See, a lot of people don't know the little ins and outs.
I thought that was for Aubrey. It's a lot of different. My kids are so hot.
Yo, I rewatched it 3 times. I watched the Super Bowl game with a couple of my musical friends, so they rewatched it. Won the American flag. I don't know if y'all saw, but the colors were coordinated.
Heads going up and down.
Serena Williams from Compton, Kendrick Compton, Serena crip walking. But remember, Serena got chastised for crip walking after she won a tournament.
There were
so many like entendres and double meanings and double layers. And like James said, Kendrick was Kendrick. To the point he didn't necessarily bring out different guests, but Samuel L. being there, that was dope to me, transitioning from different act to different act. You almost got to rewatch the Super Bowl halftime show to catch everything that you missed. Yeah. I thought it was cool.
I thought it was good. I didn't think it was great. And it has nothing to do with Kendrick because I actually like Kendrick's music. The hits, humble, not like... What made it go from good to me to like, all right, because I didn't think he was going to play Not Like Us. And everyone in the worworld knew the beef was going to happen. He dropped the bar early, like a little sound to start. And I was like, no, he didn't do it. I said to my wife, and she's like, what song is that? And like, she didn't really know. But then he ended up singing like all of it, dropped some words out of it. I just wish he would have brought out more guests, but like James told me, that's just not him. So you got to respect who he is.
Even the party said, I want to play their favorite song, but they still...
Yes, that's like, in my opinion, it would have been a flop of a performance if he didn't do that. Because that took it to
the background with Game Over? He said, tell him to turn the TV off.
How do you think Drake's feeling this morning, for real, though? Like, 120 million people just saw that.
20 million?
120
I'm about to say, bring it up.
The world saw it.
The Eagles are not an all-name team. The Eagles are an all-game team. And I believe 5 years from now, we will realize just the caliber of talent the Eagles put on the field. You know Saquon. You know AJ. You know Smitty. You know Hurts. You know Lane. You know Mailata. Great, we got that. But defensively, once Cooper DeJean has a couple all-pros under his belt, because he will, one of the best nickelbacks in football, once Nolan Smith has a couple Pro Bowls under his belt, because he will, once Jalen Carter racks up a couple more All-Pros, because he will. Once Zach Bond backdoors and gets another All-Pro next year, because he will. Once Quinyon Mitchell becomes a perennial Pro Bowler and gets a couple All-Pros, because he will, we'll realize that this was an all-time great team that we were witnessing. You win 15 of your last 16 games, but more than that, you scored more cumulative points than any team in the history of the National Football League when you consider the championship game in the conference versus the Commanders and the Super Bowl. 95 points. The next closest was the San Francisco 49ers, I believe, in the early 90s, and they scored 87 points.
95?
The Niners in 94, and the Eagles scored 95 points between those two games. They did not just win. They bludgeoned, beat down, and absolutely embarrassed and dominated their opponents. I do believe we just witnessed an all-time great team.
I do, too. All right, and I'm not being a homer here. I got some stats to back it up.
Okay.
I think this is probably the best Super Bowl winning team of all time, right? Just think about how we won. So, let's hear me out for a second. Because it's a lot of teams with stats and all that.
Yeah.
But the way we won. So, first of all, most people would say, oh, well, their quarterback is not super elite of the elite, right? They'll say that. Okay. He wins the championship, okay? Offensive-wise, we go out there and we...
Good Saquon Barkley.
Saquon. I'm sorry. I just get emotional with his name because it's like the Giants did that and he come here and he just take his... Anyway, Saquon, he's there, best running back in football. The offensive line is the best offensive line in football.
Yeah.
History.
Yeah.
Okay? Then our wide receiver tandem. I mean, you talking about Smitty and A.J. Brown, you're not going to find something better than that, right? Let's go to the defense. You have some rookies in there, right, that's inexperienced. And there's no way you go to the Super Bowl with this type of rookies. And you get to the biggest dance, and the rookies play the best, right? Cooper, my God. It's like once he started in the lineup as the nickel, it's like our defense changed.
Yep.
And you pick off one of the GOATs, not just a great quarterback, a GOAT. Patrick Mahomes, not that you pick it, you take it to 6.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, then I look at even Quentin, like even have him over there the way he's been playing. The defensive line, right? Now, you are going against the Chiefs, a team that's supposed to three-peat. A team that, if they win this game, we're saying, yo, this is the biggest and greatest dynasty of all time. And you dominate them. Sack, pressures, not with exotic blitzes, not with the corner blitz, not with all these all-out blitzes. No, 4 rushers.
Yeah.
And that's what you do? So I just like to just put things into perspective, though. Zach Bond, another one, though.
Yeah.
He making $1.1 million this year, $1.5 million this year.
$1.5 million,
He all-pro this year, right? So it's just like we won by different ways, not just having a great dominant defense with a whole bunch of big-time names. Because you start talking about all-pros, we didn't even have all that yet.
Correct.
We don't have all-pros yet,
Correct.
and we
Young
put
team.
one of the best quarterbacks of all time in a box,
Yeah.
in a straitjacket,
Yeah.
right? Andy Reid's one of the best play callers of all time. He was in a big box and big straitjacket.
Yeah.
So when you look at that, when I talk about greatness, what makes you great? Because we can always talk about names and stats and statistics and this and that and the third. But when you look at us as a group, we play great football in the playoffs and the Super Bowl, and we dominated.
You know what? I think this Eagles team, this Eagle team reminds me of Mike Tyson and Shaquille O'Neal. We wouldn't necessarily sit here and say they're the greatest, but they the most dominant and they the most feared. You do not want to guard Shaq.
Most feared.
You do not want to get in the ring with Tyson because you know what's about to happen. Everything is all good until you get on the football field with the Philadelphia Eagles. We talked all week as we was on Bourbon Street, and we say the difference between this game is going to be takeaways, but Patty Mahomes don't take it away. But the Eagles defense does. The Eagles defense and team this season was pure dominance. This is the most dominant football team I have ever seen. Every single time they stepped on the field and the team didn't do that, they made them do that. Every single time. They are the most dominant football team I've seen in this Super Bowl era on both sides of the ball. They can run it at will. They moving people off the line of scrimmage. Defensively, you can't run it on them with 4. They get into the quarterback with 4. They are the most dominant team that I've seen in the history of the National Football League, and I'm not even lying. I feel like this team all year long has just been dominant, been moving people out of the way, been getting after the passer, just dominant football.
Yeah, this game was one of the trenches, and I think they have one of the best trenches on offensive line and defensive line, really in a long time. But when you talk about all-time great team, like one of the all-time greats, when you first asked this question, I was like, man, it seems sort of hyperbolic. Because you're like, you think about the 72 Dolphins, 17-0, won the Super Bowl, 78 Steelers, 85 Bears. Oh, my gosh, the 84 49ers, the 07 Patriots, even though they didn't win the Super Bowl. And then you look at the 2024, 2025 Philadelphia Eagles. They won 18 games. But I tend to agree with what Shady, it's how they did it, right? Because really, this whole team, and I agree with James too, the most dominant, because you look at the offense, and you have one of the best 2 tandems at receiver in all of football. You easily have the best offensive line in all of football. 4 of the 5 guys were either Pro Bowl or All-Pros. You have a really good tight end. You have the greatest season of all time of any running back in the history of the game. Just surpassed Terrell Davis's 2,500-yard season, okay? And then it's really the quarterback. Well, what did he do in the biggest moment? He's been to 2 Super Bowls since he's 26. He answered the bell. He's a Super Bowl MVP, like Acho was saying. He's a second-team All-Pro. And then you go to the defense and what they're doing. They're so young. They haven't even gotten the praise they probably need to deserve. And then you look at their coaching, right? Elite offensive coordinator, elite defensive coordinator, one of the great leaders of our time in Nick Sirianni. The proof's on the table. So I think that, it's sort of, I had to dive deep a little bit, and I had to really look at it. But I think they are one of the all-time great teams, for sure.
Really quick, Andy, if you could help us out. When's the last time a backup quarterback was in victory formation?
Super Bowl, bro.
I know, Kenny Pickett. That was awesome.
I don't know when that is, but that's dominant, dog.
James, I was watching.
Gosh,
I said, yo, y'all Gatorade bathing them too soon.
Like 2 minutes
Not
left.
because the score wasn't close.
It
Not
was
because
a
the score
wrap,
was close,
dog.
but just because I was like, yo, at 2:59 in the 4th quarter, still got a 2-minute warning, still got all their timeouts.
Over.
It was such a
they threw the
blowout.
bomb.
Over.
Bruh. And then
they
you
threw
had
the
the
bomb.
backups in.
Yeah.
Like, backup DBs really got to play.
They let 'em play.
Backup quarterback, Kenny Pickett played in a Super Bowl. That's how dominant.
I was with Shady.
That's what I saw.
I think
like,
Shady
oh my
on X, when it was 17-0, Shady said it's over. Because we all seen the look in the Chiefs' eyes and
that's
everything.
what it was. It wasn't the points. It was the look. I'm like, oh, I don't see the same Pat I'm used to. I don't see the same Kelsey I'm used to when we down. And that's what happened.
What up, YouTube family? Welcome to the facility. Thanks for watching, and you better be sure to hit that subscribe button if you want to get more highlights from the show and all of our exclusive content.